While you sleep, your rooftop is not empty. Pigeons settle along the ledges, half resting, half watching, while owls, cats, and shadows move through the dark. Welcome to the Pigeon Mind. Stay until the end, because after midnight, the quiet roof above your home becomes a hidden stage of sleep danger warmth, watchful eyes, and a city above you far more alive than it looks. Right now, while you sleep soundly, something is happening just above your head. On the roof of your own building, a small drama is quietly unfolding in the dark. A group of pigeons has settled there, tucked into the ledges for the night. They chose your rooftop carefully as a place that felt safe enough to sleep. But being safe in the dangerous city night is never, ever entirely guaranteed, because they are not the only living things awake on that roof tonight. In the darkness around them, something else may be quietly watching and waiting. The city night, despite all its apparent stillness, is genuinely full of quiet hidden hunters, and your quiet rooftop can become the stage for a silent nightly hunt. So what really happens on your rooftop in the long hours after midnight? And in that darkness, the real question becomes, who exactly is watching whom? The answer is a quiet, tense, nightly story of survival just above your home. First, understand why the pigeons chose your rooftop in the very first place. City pigeons descend from wild rock doves that slept on high rocky cliffs. To them, your building is simply a cliff rebuilt in concrete and brick. Your rooftop quietly offers them the three key things that they most need after dark. It offers them height, which keeps them safely up above most of the ground-based dangers. It offers shelter in its corners and ledges from the wind and the rain. And it offers warmth, radiating gently from the sun-warmed stone and brick. So a quiet rooftop becomes a small fortress against the cold and the dark. The same few birds may return to your roof night after night for years. They know its safe corners, its warm walls, and its clearest escape routes. Your roof, to them, is a trusted and familiar home in the heights. But even the safest fortress must still be guarded through the dangerous night, because the city night holds silent hunters that the roosting pigeons must always quietly fear. The most dangerous of all is a silent and deadly predator, the owl. Owls hunt in near total darkness, exactly when the pigeons are most blind. A pigeon's normally superb daytime vision becomes almost completely useless once full darkness falls. So in the dark, the pigeon effectively loses its single greatest and most reliable survival advantage. The owl, by contrast, sees beautifully and hears even better in the dark. And most frighteningly of all, the owl flies, almost completely without a sound. Its soft feathers muffle the air, so it strikes with no warning at all. A roosting pigeon may never hear the hunter until it is far too late. This is the deepest danger that drives the pigeons up to your safe rooftop. Height and good shelter are really their best defenses against this silent, winged, nighttime hunter. A bird tucked deep in a corner is far harder for an owl to reach. So even in sleep, the pigeon never fully lets down its ancient guard, which leads us to one of the most remarkable of all pigeon survival tricks. A roosting pigeon does not simply switch off the way an exhausted person does. It can rest one half of its own brain while the other half stays awake. Scientists formally call this unihemispheric sleep, and it is honestly, genuinely astonishing to consider. One eye gently closes for rest, while the opposite eye stays open and watching. That single open eye keeps a quiet watch, scanning the dark for any danger. So half the brain dozes, while the other half stands silent guard all night. The birds on the very edge of the group watch outward the most carefully. The safer birds, tucked deep inside, can finally let both their eyes close. So the whole roost is never completely asleep and never fully off guard. At the first sign of a threat, one alarmed bird can wake the entire group. A single startled flush sends the whole flock exploding into the safer dark. It is a truly remarkable shared defense, the whole roost half asleep, yet never truly defenseless. So when you imagine them simply sleeping, picture instead a quiet, resting, and deeply watchful army. Each bird half resting and half forever on the lookout for the watcher. The owl, though, is not the only hunter watching your rooftop in the dark. In many cities, peregrine falcons now nest on the tallest towers and ledges. These peregrine falcons are, without doubt, among the very fastest hunters in the entire animal kingdom. By day, they hunt the pigeons in absolutely breathtaking, high-speed, plunging aerial dives. At dawn and dusk, when the light is low, they hunt the roosting flocks. So even the high rooftops are not completely free of danger from above. Closer to the ground, another quiet hunter prowls the lower ledges, the cat. A determined cat can climb, surprisingly high indeed, reaching ledges that seem perfectly safe to a bird. This is exactly why the pigeons prize the highest and most sheltered spots. The weakest or youngest birds often get pushed to the riskier lower edges. So the whole roost quietly sorts itself out by strength, by status, and by hard-earned experience. The safest and strongest birds reliably claim the safest spots night after night after night. And so a quiet, invisible order governs the long hours on your roof. It is a delicate nightly balance of fear, watchfulness, warmth, and uneasy, hard-won rest. So who exactly is watching on your rooftop in those dark midnight hours? The pigeons are watching the shadows for the silent approach of any hunter. The owl is watching the pigeons patiently from a nearby chimney or pole. The falcon may be watching from the very highest towers for the first light. The cat is quietly watching too from somewhere below, calculating its slow and very careful climb. And all through it, the pigeons keep that single open eye on the dark. It is a tense, silent web of watching that lasts the whole night through. Most nights, thankfully, the danger simply passes them by, and the hunters go hungry. The pigeons survive each night simply by being high, sheltered, watchful, and gathered many together. But some nights, a hunter succeeds, and one bird does not see the dawn. This is simply the hard and honest reality of wildlife in the city. Then, as the first gray light arrives, the long, tense night finally ends. The survivors stir, stretch their wings, and prepare to drop down to the streets. And by the time you wake, the rooftop looks quiet, calm, and utterly ordinary. Now, we should pause here and stay careful and honest about all this. When we speak of watching, the animals are not thinking the way we do. The pigeon is not lying awake, anxiously dreading a hunter the way a person might. It is simply running deep and ancient instincts of vigilance slowly shaped by long evolution. The owl and falcon are not cruel. They are simply trying to survive too. This is not a tale of good and evil, but of survival on every side. We should not paint the pigeon as a helpless victim of the cruel night. It is genuinely a skilled survivor with very real defenses against equally real and present dangers. The drama is genuinely real, but it needs no exaggeration to be gripping. The simple, honest truth of the night is dramatic entirely on its own. So tonight, before you sleep, spare a thought for what is happening above. On your own rooftop, a quiet, watchful drama may be unfolding in the dark. And if you are curious, there are gentle ways to glimpse it for yourself. In the early evening, simply watch whether the pigeons gather and settle in on your own roof. Notice exactly where they tuck themselves away, into which corners, which ledges, and which warm walls. Look from a safe distance for the edge birds keeping their watchful guard. At dusk or dawn, scan the highest towers nearby for a perched, watching falcon. Listen on a still night for the soft, haunting call of a nearby owl. These are the quiet signs of the hidden hunt happening above your home. But please always watch them with respect and never once disturb the resting and watchful birds. The roof is their fragile sanctuary, and the whole point is just to witness. Once you know what to look for, your own rooftop transforms before your eyes. It becomes a quiet wilderness, a tiny stage for an ancient nightly story. Story of hunters and survivors playing out just above your sleeping head. So the rooftop you never think about is far more alive than you imagined. Every night, a small flock trusts it as a fortress against the dark. And every single night, the silent hunters quietly test that fragile, hard-won sense of safety. The pigeons answer with height, with shelter, with numbers, and with watchful eyes, half asleep, yet never fully off their guard all through the long hours. It is not love, it is not fear in any simple human sense. It is simply the quiet, ancient drama of survival itself, repeated faithfully, night after night. And it all unfolds in near total silence, directly above your own quietly sleeping home. Who is watching on your rooftop after midnight turns out to be everyone. The pigeons, the owls, the falcons, the cats, all locked in a silent watch. It is a delicate web of watchful eyes that never fully closes itself until the dawn arrives. So I will leave you with one simple thing to try this very week. On a clear evening, look up at your own rooftop just before dark. See whether a small flock of pigeons gathers there and settles itself in for the night. Watch for the edge birds sitting alert with one quiet eye on the dark. And on a still night, listen for the soft call of a hidden owl. Tell me what you saw and heard on your own rooftop after dark. And tell me whether you sensed that quiet tension of the watchful night. Because once you know it is there, you can feel it every single night. A hidden world of hunters and survivors awake while you are fast asleep. So look up tonight and remember the silent watch being kept above you. The city below may sleep deeply, but your rooftop above, quietly, never fully does. There is always one eye open, one bird watching, one hunter waiting above. And now, at last, you know exactly who has been watching all along. So sleep well tonight, resting beneath that quiet, watchful, and genuinely ancient night sky. And know that just above you, the night is fully and wonderfully alive.